Hi everyone, it's Michael, and today we're going to be doing training for administrators of Smart Suite Library. And the topic we're going to be addressing is security of patrons and security of resources. Okay, now the thing is, you need to understand what impact the security is going to have on the system, or alternatively, when you find out what we do with security, it'll blow your mind. And we do security in two areas. We do it on the circulation side of things, and we will do it on the OPAC. Now, you might wonder and say, well, why do we have security on the OPAC? So stay tuned and you'll find out. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is um, we're going to answer questions as they come in. And if you've got a question that you need to ask, you can see me looking to my right, your left, in other words. And that's because I'm constantly scanning to see if anyone has raised any questions. Oh, the question just raised. Will we cover security on videos and TV for education? And the answer is absolutely yes, and very, very important for that too. Okay, so if you need to ask a question, type up on the right hand side, you've got a chat. You can type your question, and I won't read your name out necessarily, but I will read your question and I will answer just like I did just now. Okay, so to do anything with administration, you need to be logged in. So you can see I am already signed in. Okay. And we're going to be talking about security. So we'll deal with the patron security first. So let's have a look at a patron. To have a look at a patron, I'm going to go to menu, then patron and patron management. It's going to bring up my record. So I'm going to go find and bring up someone else's record, SMITH Smith. We'll grab any Smith. So let's grab John Smith here. And you can see he's a year level 3. Okay. And so when you get John Smith, he's a year level 3. So where's his security and what does it do? If you have a look here, every patron record on the basic screen, on the initial screen, okay, you've got all the information about a patron up here. But we're interested in the basic login information. And you can see he's got a security of 3. So what does that mean? My recommendation is that every student belongs in a year level. Okay, so why not make their security rating or security number same as their year level? So as an example, if he's a year 3, his security is 3. If he's 5, it's a 5. If it's a 9, it's a 9. If it's a 12, it's a 12. If it's a prep, it's a 0. Why would you do that? Okay, so if I say that he has a security of 3, this year 3 student, and I put a book on the system, I catalog a book, a resource, okay, and it might be senior fiction, but I don't want my year 3 to do it. So on the catalog record, when we come to it, I can flag that catalog record as being only for year 5s and above in a primary school, okay, which means a year 3 will never even see it if you turn on OPAC security. So it'll never even show up there. Okay, if they try to circulate, if they go and grab an adult fiction, which is a year 5 book, and they come to the circulation desk, it's going to look at this number of the student and it'll say, oh, this is a year 3 and below person, so he cannot have a book that has a security of 5, or he cannot watch a video that is a security 5, or even a 4 for that matter, because he can only look at and access resources that are year 3 and below. Okay, so that's why it's very important. So if you make sure that the year level is the same number as the security, so if the 3 is a 3, is a 4 is a 4, security 4 is a 5, security 5, 6 security 6, 10 security 10, 12 security 12. What about the teachers? Well, they don't have a particular year level. So why not pick an arbitrary number? My recommendation is give all teachers a security of 50. Okay. So which means they can borrow anything from 50 and below, which is all the resources in the library for the students, which is year 12 and below. Okay. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, you've just bought a fantastic art book and it's cost you $120. And some teachers will want to borrow it at circulation time. And if you made that security 50s for the teachers to borrow, you might never see that book again. So if you catalog that book, why not make the book, instead of 50 for teachers, why not make it 60? Any number over 50, which means the teachers will now not be able to borrow that art book. So that's a fantastic way to do it. Okay. Now, I personally don't like a teacher group, just like a year level group. I don't like a teacher group of staff or teachers. To me, it is way too broad. What will happen if you've got relief teachers that are only there for 2-3 days or even one day? Okay. What about if you've got itinerant teachers that are just passing through? They're going to spend a week or a month. What about if you have a student teacher that's just coming there for a week? Now, if you gave them all the security of 50, what that's going to mean is they're going to be able to borrow laptops because they're 50. They're going to be able to borrow iPads because they're a catalog security of 50. They're going to be able to take out your expensive books, art books, and encyclopedias, which is a security 50, because they're a teacher. You just classify them as a teacher. However, if you had another sub-classification, so instead of teacher, you might call them teacher hyphen itinerant, teacher hyphen student. So for a student teacher, teacher hyphen temp or temp teacher. And you can make their security as 25 so that they can only borrow anything that has a security rating of 25 or below, but they cannot borrow all the expensive stuff like iPads. So that's just, something to think about. Okay. So basically, make sure that every patron, their year level is the same as their security, except for the teachers, which I've explained to you. Now, see how that's year 3? Watch what happens with the security. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make it a year 8. Okay. And when I save, that become 8. Okay. Well, how did that happen? Well, the class grade is an authority entry. So let me show you. You need to go to menu, and you should be doing this with all your year levels. Okay. So if you got teacher space, full-time teacher space, temp teacher space, itinerant, and so forth, year 12 preps and so forth. So you need to go to configuration and you need to go to the authority editor. When you click on the authority editor, okay, your authority files are alphabetic, so that's why audience is always going to be up at the top. But if you click that, you can see class grade, which is where we were. Remember year 3s, remember year 12s. So if you, I think we got a year 8. So if I look at the year 8 and click that pencil, it'll allow me to look at all the parameters for anyone that's a class grade 8. So all you do is you click the pencil, that'll edit up, and you can see the 8 is a security 8. That's because that's how I set it. On your system, it's probably going to be 0 because no one has ever set it. Okay, that's where your final borrowing date, your expiry date, your loan limits, and what have you. We're only interested in security. So once you do that, you click save. Okay, and while we're here, all the year rates, their final borrowing date is the 13th of December. They'll expire. Work out when you're going to leave the school at 20 years to it, so you never have to borrow about. You never have to bother with it, and then just make that the expiry date. Okay, the system needs some valid date in here. Okay. For 99% of schools, that's not relevant, but you need to put something. So as I said, work out 20 years from when you're going to expire, put it in there, and then that's it. Okay. Then of course you have the loan limit. You have, so in other words, how many books they can borrow, how long they can borrow it for, if they can renew books from home, how many items they can, how many times they can renew a book, and if they're allowed to renew it, what's the renewal period? So no, you're saying they can renew it 5 times. You can go, no, but they can renew it for 7 days. Okay, so when they hit renew, it'll get, so because it was 0, it won't renew it, but now they can renew it for 7 days. How many items can they reserve? And can they take out multiple copies? 99% of people will not have a tick in there because that's only for teachers who take multiple copies. Otherwise, the child will leave the textbook at home and then just come and borrow another copy. Okay, Patron override, that's only for teachers, okay? Patron override says if this was a teacher and they can borrow 365 books and they can borrow for 365 days. So if they come to borrow a book and it's a 7-day book or an overnight book or a 14-day book, because I said the patron overrides whatever the catalog record is, that's what that's doing, okay? But we talked about security, so that's all we do. Now, when you do any changes here, please remember you must click the save button, okay? If you don't click the save button, when you go exit, nothing's going to be saved, okay? And it'll retrospectively update everybody in year 8 with those new parameters you've just put in. So that's on the on the patron side of things. So let's go back into patron management. I'm going to find a patron. So I'll go find and I'll go John. Okay. And if I'm looking at John Fernandez, I click that. He's a year 7, security 7. So that's how it works. Very simple, but very, very effective. Okay. Now, if John Fernandez comes to borrow a senior fiction and it's a year 12 school, uh, he won't be able to because the senior fiction book will probably be classified as a year 12 only. However, if you've logged in as the administrator, you're going to get a little pop up to say, this person is trying to borrow a senior resource. Do you want to override? We don't recommend you should. And if you go yes, override, so you can override all the normal global security parameters. Okay, so that's very important. So now we've done the patron side of it. Let's go and do the catalog side of it. So now that I know where the security number is for all the patrons, where's the security number for the catalog records? Well, that's easy. So go into your OPAC or go into your catalog and then find a record and bring it up. So I'm going to go to St. Patrick. Okay, and of course, if you logged in as an administrator, you can have the edit button there. So just click the edit button and it'll take you to the catalog screen. And just like the patron, the security number is sitting over here. So let's say for argument's sake, you're a P212 school and this is a senior fiction item. So why not make it 11 and above? So if I now save it, remember you have to save the thing. So now what happens if a year 7 came to borrow, it'll say no, but you can override. Okay. Year 10 came to borrow, they'll say no, but you can override. Year 11 comes to borrow, not a problem. You don't even hear anything at circulation, it just goes out. Okay, that's all it is. Let's say for argument's sake, this was a video. So let's go and have a look at the videos. Okay, so I'll go back into my search screen. Okay, and I'm going to go to TV4Education. For those of you who are fortunate and lucky and privileged to be able to have TV4Education. TV4Education is an amazing multimedia digital resource where you will find and you can get videos on absolutely any topic, any subject you are required to teach, any curriculum code. Okay, you can have videos on anything from there and it'll just be part of your collection. And the way it works is you just go to TV4Education, okay, and it'll show you all the recently added, the learning tube, documentaries, the movies, okay, they're all there. So if you're looking at recently added, okay, so let's have a look at this. World movies. That's a PG movie. I'm going to add that one. Okay, it's a PG. Remember, it's a PG. So I've gone add. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add this M-rated stuff. M-rated, add. Okay, so now let's go to my school collection. So basically, this is like buying a book for the resource, except it costs you $0. So you are actually able to build your resource center, not just with books, but anything from the digital space, from websites, from YouTube. It's amazing what you can do. Okay, let's have a look at this one video first. Okay, SPS World, that's the first one, and it was PG. Okay, now I'm going to put it on hold. Okay, so it doesn't play. Okay, so there's my video. All right, now what happens is when you click the I for information, it brings up the catalog record just as if it was a book or a physical resource. And when you click the edit, it'll take you to the catalog record. Okay. And have a look at that. That security is 6. How did that happen? Okay. So it's a PG and it's a 6. Now, I can change it. I can say, no, 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 this is a year 12 only, or it's PG, no, anyone from, prep up, so I can make it 0. So you can change it, okay? However, let's go and have a look at that other one, which is the M-rated one. Remember, this was 6, the M-rated one. Let's have a look at it record. Okay, I'll just put on hold, pause. Okay, pretty serious stuff. All right, so let's bring up the information. Let's click on the edit. It's an M rated. Remember, it's M, which means that it's staff only. That's what this system set up. Now, let me show you how you set. Now, you can change it. You can say, no, this is all right for year 12s and above. And then once you save it, that's it. Okay. However, remember when I went to the catalog system and I was showing you patrons, we went to the authority file and we went to class grade. Let me refresh your memory. So we were in here in the menu, we went to configuration, we went to the authority file editor, and then it's alphabetical. We went to the class grade and we set for the patrons all their security numbers based on their rating. Well, we have another fantastic little authority entry for you, and it's called video default security. So in other words, when videos come into our collection that staff have selected, what is the default security given to them? So if you click that, if it's a G, anyone can watch it. If it's an M, you have to be a teacher. You can say no. If it's an M, I will allow year 12s and above by default. So you can set that up. Okay. And if it's a PG, year 6 and above. If it's an R, only administrative. If it's an MA, teachers. So you can set anything like that, and that sets the default. Now, what does that do? All that does is it says when a video comes into the system, look at that video, okay, and then apply. Sorry, let me just go back here. Look at that video and then apply a default security to it. However, very, very important is that's the default according to the administrator. But you might look at that program and you can say, this program, yeah, I know it's year 12. It's a teacher only. Okay. But the issue, let me just put on pause. Okay. But the issue is there is not that much violence. And the violence was he was kicking a cat. And the cat ran across the road in front of him and he kicked the cat to get it out of the way. And that's what they would classify as violence. So if that's the case, you can say, no, 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 I'm going to go into here and I'm going to change the default from 50 to 12 or from 50 to 10. But you don't even have to do that because what you can do is you can leave it at 50 and you're doing an assignment project with your children. So you can click the share icon for the video and you can say, I want to share this with my year 11 class, and it will give you a URL. And now you can take that URL, highlight it, go copy, and now you can email it to all your year 11 students, or even just the 5 year level students that are doing advanced English or advanced psychology or whatever it is, and you want to give it to them. Okay, so it stays at 50 staff only on the school's collection, but leave it at that. But when you come here, you can say, no, I'm going to give this video to my year 11s or my year 12s or whoever, okay, with that URL. And of course, if someone who's not a year 11, say they're year 9, because their brothers got it, so they are the junior brother or junior sister, and they click on that video, it's not going to play because when they ask it to log in, they'll have to be a year 11 student or above to watch that. Okay, so that's how you can do it. So thank you for the opportunity of showing you not just security on books and how it will affect circulation, but security on patrons and security on videos or any digital item or any other item. So if you catalog the chart that goes in a round cylinder and stored in the back room, and you want to make sure that only teachers can borrow, you can catalog it and make it 50, and that's it. So thank you very much for this opportunity to present Smart Suite Library for administrators. And in this one, we dealt with security of patrons, security of the catalog, and security of videos that get added to the catalog, and how circulation will allow any administrator to override any security that's set in the system. Obviously, you'll have to be accountable to it.